number one thing you need to understand when dealing with people is that everyone has their own perspective and everyone is right to have that perspective. And when we take things this way, all our problems disappear. All of our problems are gone. And I'm bringing this to you in hopes that you embrace this fact, because the other day I was sitting in a class and they were telling us like professionalism help. And we're seeing this video of like somebody complaining about some coworker, and their big thing was like, oh wow, this guy's just a meanie. He's just going to be a meanie, and I get to observe this and learn how to just study these people. And it was the stupidest take, and it was the stupidest piece of advice. And the thing I want you to understand is like, no matter who you're dealing with an individual. And that individual is somebody who has gone through something, who is that way for a reason. And in this book, it exemplifies this perfectly by just saying that there was some criminal. He had committed some crimes, and he basically said as his defense, he was like, this is what I get for defending myself. Even though it was clearly his fault, even though everything clearly escalated because of the crimes he committed, in his own mind, he still believed he was justified. He still believed his actions were right. And that's why I will forever suggest this book, because this book transcends everything. This book transcends whatever you're getting taught in class, whatever they're trying to instill in your head. Like, the principles in this book will forever drive me forward and will forever allow me to succeed when it comes to dealing with people, simply for the fact that this book is not just a communication book. It is a psychology book. It is a book in taming your own ego, taming your own emotions, and getting what you want from the discussion, getting what you want, and doing it in a manner where both people feel like they're coming out better. Both people feel like we're coming to some sort of agreement that benefits both parties. And this is one of the most important principles. One of the most important principles that this book talks about is each and every one has their own perspective, and we need to appeal to these perspectives. We need to understand why someone thinks a certain way, because when we can understand what motivates someone, we can understand why they feel this way, why they might be angry, and we can approach this in this scenario. So like a really, really practical piece of advice is like, look at the people that piss you off the most. Look at the people that are very, very annoying or just strike you and get on your nerves. And like, I'll give you a few examples. I have a friend who calls me at 2:30 in the morning during the week, and then he'll text me later on that day and be like, why didn't you respond? It's like, dude, I've been sleeping for 5-6 hours. Like, why am I going to respond? And you're literally just going to be like, what's up? And it's just like, you know, it's very frustrating. It's very annoying. But like, I have to view it from this other person's perspective. I have to understand where he's coming from. I haven't texted him in a while. I haven't talked to him in a while. I've been busy, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that I've been, struggling to keep things together, struggling to keep everything at bay, struggling to really keep myself centered and understand the processes and the things that are going on around me. And if I simply just explain that to him, then he'll fucking stop doing this bullshit. But like, until I do that, we're forever going to have this friction. We're forever going to have these blockades. And I want you to understand this fact, because this might be the most important principle from this book. When you're dealing with people, you're not dealing with people who see it from your perspective. And when you start seeing other people's perspectives, when you start seeing their motivations and why they are acting a certain way, then you can kind of, fall for them. You can kind of say like, you know what, if I was in their shoes, I would probably feel the same way. And this is the biggest thing that I've realized. Like, when I argue with someone, not that I really argue, but when I have some sort of a disagreement, like, I always just take a step back and I always look at it from their shoes, and I'm like, you know what? I have to explain it in this way because the way I'm explaining it makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to this person. Or this person's a jerk, but like, I could see deep down they've just had a chip on their shoulders their entire life. So you know what? I'm gonna say, you're such a hard worker. I really envy this. I really envy that. And it's like, there's all these little tools and little tactics we can do, but it only is available to us when we start seeing the other perspective, when we start seeing that each and every person is the hero in their own story. And you know what? Maybe they're an asshole to everybody else, but they're still a hero to themselves. So when you cut some people some slack, when you forgive people, when you accept people for who they are and see their worldview and see everything that's led up to who they are now, dude, there's nothing stopping you. There's literally nothing stopping you. The first chapter of this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is literally saying Andrew Carnegie was the richest man in the world at the time, not because of his intelligence, not because of whatever he had going for him in terms of natural talent, natural ability, being in the right place. It was because he knew how to deal with people. He could manage people. He could get the most out of people. He could make people feel like they were getting the better end of the deal every single time he went into a negotiation. And because of this, that's what made him successful. And I think this is a really, really important lesson to learn, especially for people that live in the modern day age in the corporate world. And you're going to have to deal with unevolved people. You're going to have to deal with unenlightened people, people that haven't done any sort of introspection on themselves, people that have a position of power over you, and they won't even confront themselves in the mirror. They won't even look at themselves and say, I have this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem. Maybe I'm too aggressive. Maybe I'm too this. Maybe I'm too that. Like, nobody is doing this. And you have to do it for them. You have to understand their side. You have to understand their perspective and help and guide them through it and guide them to a better path, a better future. And it's really an awesome thing to start to be able to do and an awesome thing to start to be able to understand. And I mean, really just start viewing the things in your life as this way. Like, if you're having a disagreement with a girlfriend, with a friend, with a family member, just look at it from their side. Are you being an asshole? Are you not giving them the support they want? Are they dealing with other things that they're not telling you about? Like, there's a lot more that goes into disagreements than just the disagreement. A lot of times disagreements only happen because everything else in the world is going wrong and people bring their problems to the table instead of leaving them behind. And when we understand this, then we can understand how to deal with people. When we understand how to deal with people, we can get ahead in this world. And it's not so much about getting ahead for the sake of getting ahead, but it's getting ahead for the sake of driving society forward. Like, I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in a bad relationship, it's a bad relationship because people bring their problems to the relationship. They don't leave them at the door. If you have an insecurity, you bring it to that other person. That other person brings their insecurity, and a house divided can't stand. We'll quote Abraham Lincoln before I go, but thank you so much for making this far. Pick up this book, one of the best books ever written. I just felt the need to talk about it again today. Thank you guys so much for making this far. Love all you guys. Tell me one thing you're gracious for. One thing I'm gracious for today is that I get to bring the ideas of this book. I love this book, and I like talking about it in not just the material sense, but I like talking about it in my own interpretation. So the fact that I could flow, the fact that I could bring you guys this video and give you some value, like, that's an awesome day, and it's fun. So comment, say it to yourself, whatever you got to do. Join my Discord, or if you want more from me, if you want more in-depth lessons, join my paid community. Price is going to go up soon. Yeah. See you guys. Love you guys. Peace out.